that definitely went into why I went pescatarian for a really long time. I don't know why I dropped it. I think I missed chicken nuggets, and that was literally it. Yeah, I know, it was so sad.
Do you think, so going back to this question, is animal abuse justified if it gives us pleasure? So taste pleasure. That's often used to justify abusing an animal.
The way that you've done this. I really like that you're like, okay, I'm going to point out this one lovely question and then we're going to round it all off to, are your morals aligning with your actions? Because mine aren't. You're right.
They often aren't.
They fully aren't.
I'm asking people to have conversations with me about animal rights.
Oh, go on.
Would you be up for it? Yeah? Cool. So, what's your initial thoughts to this question? Is animal abuse justified if it gives us pleasure?
Absolutely not.
No? It's quite a strong answer from both of you.
We're not the main people of this world.
Yeah?
We live here with animals. Animals make us thrive, so I don't think that we know.
Do you think humans are supreme to other organisms?
No, I was thinking about this the other day. Yeah, I was like, why are we more important than something else? I don't think we should have the right to do anything to anyone.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
And if someone came and justified abusing an animal, or tried to, what would your response be to them?
No. There's no like excuses there.
What do you think of those people that justify it?
I think they're trying to justify their own pleasure of it. I think they're trying to find like a reason for them to be like, oh, yeah, this is right. This is like what we need to do. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe they think it's like their purpose. I think a lot of people think that our purpose as humans is to destroy or gain power, and by doing that we need to destroy.
It's like a god complex and think they're better than everyone.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the case. I think we need to look after nature. I mean, like Coco, the gorilla that got taught sign language, one of his like lasting statements of him, signing to humans was basically about how humans are destroying nature and they don't give it enough recognition of power, and like how we are a part of nature and like nature isn't a part of like humans. Like, we're a part of the ecosystem, but people don't recognise that a lot of the time.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. Sorry. So wait, that would be the monkey or ape signed that?
Yeah, Coco.
Very eloquent.
You should watch the video of it. It's actually
okay, interesting.
Yeah, he basically is just like nature's really powerful and humans are shit.
Right.
As a summary. But yeah.
And so with that, do you think, it sounds like you don't think that anyone could justify abusing an animal in any way?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I don't, no. I guess if you look at it from the perspective, sometimes when we are trying to help animals, we do abuse them in some ways. So us basically trying to, how we put animals in zoos, some people consider that abuse and other people consider it as conservation.
Yeah.
And I think there's they're both valid within their own rights. It just depends on how the zoo goes about it. But yeah.
Okay, can I just ask the final question? Are you guys vegan?
I'm veggie, but I only really drink coffee milk, to be fair. I'm basically
basically. No, I'm not, but I was pescatarian for a really long time, and that definitely changed my perspective of it. I don't eat a lot of meat. Actually, maybe I do, now that I think about it. And that is abuse. I've just gone against my own track here.
Right.
Fuck, I'm going to have vegetarian after this.
Well, veganism is a philosophy about minimising harm to animals, reducing exploitation. So do you think that's something which aligns with your values?
Oh yeah.
So it's often made to sound as this extreme thing, but that's all it is, just minimising harm. And it sounds like you guys are against animal abuse.
Oh yeah.
So all I'm asking people is to align their values with their actions.
No,
because
that's such a good point.
It's easy to say that we're animal lovers, but when we pay for animal products, we're paying for them to be exploited.
Yeah.
So do you think veganism and cutting out animal products is something you'd be interested in?
100%. I mean, I did my EPQ on the harm of veganism on the environment compared to meat consumption, and what I found was pretty staggering. So yeah, I think that realistically we should move towards everyone being vegetarian/vegan.
And when you say it's staggering, in terms of how damaging meat eating is.
Yeah. That definitely went into why I went pescatarian for a really long time. I don't know why I dropped it. I think I missed chicken nuggets, and that was literally it. Yeah, I know, it was so sad.
Do you think, so going back to this question, is animal abuse justified if it gives us pleasure? So taste pleasure. That's often
you're
used
so
to justify
right. I really
abusing
like
an animal.
The way that you've done this. I really like that you're like, okay, I'm going to point out this one lovely question and then we're going to round it all off to, are your morals aligning with your actions? Because mine aren't. You're right.
They often aren't.
They fully aren't.
And it's very difficult, I think, to align your actions with your morals. But do you think it's something we're obligated to do?
Yeah.
Like once you recognise an injustice, do you think that we should take steps to remove that injustice?
Yeah. I mean, as intellectual mammals, we are responsible for that kind of thing. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah.
Can I ask you, so you went pescatarian. Do you think there's an ethical difference between killing a fish and killing a land animal, like a chicken or a cow?
But at that time, to go through some eating things, and I needed to eat fish. Like that was the thing that I needed to do. I could have taken.
Well, you thought you did need to, but you never needed to.
I definitely. You are completely right. I was like 16, so I wasn't extremely educated in a lot of the things.
And I'm not judging your 16-year-old self because I went vegetarian before going vegan, and I now recognise that even as a vegetarian, I was still causing harm by consuming dairy and eggs.
Yeah. No, I do really appreciate that. I really do. I do think that. And then obviously when I was doing my EPQ on meat consumption, I did fall into the whole fishing industry, and that is great. I actually don't eat a lot of fish now.
And if you take the animal rights perspective out of it, even from an environmental perspective, have you seen documentaries like Seaspiracy?
Cowspiracy, that's what turned me veggie. I watched that when I was like 13. I was like, whoa.
I used Cowspiracy a lot for my facts on my EPQ. This is when obviously I didn't know how to look at journal articles and things. But it definitely changed my perspective. And also, What in the Health, have you seen that?
Yeah.
Have you seen the twin experiment version of it?
I can't say I have.
You really should, because they put, so this was all about it wasn't specifically about vegan diets in particular, or animal activism in many ways. However, it was about the microbiome of your stomach and how vegan diets can promote a more healthy microbiome in your stomach, which then ultimately affects your mental health. And that was really interesting. They did it with twins because they're obviously genetically the same, so they wanted to see whether it has a massive extent to which veganism affects your microbiome.
Now you're saying that, I think it reminded me of it. I think, am I right in saying
it's a series on Netflix, you should really look into it because it's so
I think the person who ended up being given the meat diet was actually disappointed, so I think he wanted to try the vegan diet. Or the plant-based diet?
Indeed. It was he was indeed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was like, I really want to try the vegan diet, and now I've been basically given the meat diet, so I have to eat meat. But yeah, I think a lot of them try to implement veganism in their lifestyles as well. I mean, one of them was a chef, so it was quite hard to not handle meat in that environment, but she didn't consume it. So, yeah.
Can I just ask you both if you know about the practices with, say with vegetarian, do you know the practices with dairy production and egg production? What happens in those industries?
Yeah, well, I've watched quite a lot of videos of it, but I don't really eat eggs. The only dairy products I eat is chocolate. I can't lie, and a bit of milk when I get a takeaway coffee. That's it, which obviously isn't great, but nah.
Do you think that even to those animals, even if we're not consuming a vast amount, every product we consume, we're adding to that demand and adding to that suffering?
Increasing it, isn't it?
Do you think you're still obligated to, even if it's a small amount, to cut those small amounts out?
Oh yeah, I just
with plant-based
literally can't stop eating chocolate.
I mean, it's that sign where it's use a single cup, and then it's 7 billion people said it's fine if I use one single-use cup.
Right.
And it's the same in the extent of 7 billion people it's just a piece of meat. It's that's 7 billion, or potentially 7 billion animals. It might not be because of the amount of eaten meat, but yeah, I think that struck home quite a bit because I was holy shit, if you put it in perspective of how many people are on the planet. it really does get quite.
And over time, that adds up so much.
Yeah.
There's a website called Vegan Calculator, and you can put in that how long you've been vegan, and it shows you how many animals you've saved.
Oh, that's
and
lovely.
it's amazing how
Have you done it?
large the numbers are. Yeah, because I think it's, I want to say 50 animals a year you save, lives get saved if you're a vegan. Don't quote me on that, but it's in the insanely big number.
Yeah.
And if you put that over a lifetime and potentially add in friends you talk to about vegetarianism or veganism and animal rights and how much an effect you can have. So and even if it seems like a drop in the pond, that's a drop which you don't have to add, and the pond could be smaller, and it could be completely removed if we can kind of keep the message going. So I'm asking people to firstly stop adding to the demand and abstain from animal products, and then also talk to people about animal rights and keep the movement going, and the butterfly effect, because the people you speak to might speak to other people, which might speak to other people. I'm giving people a resource as well called Challenge 22. It's an entirely free resource, and it's a website which they give you meal prep on there. So it's all whole foods, plant-based stuff. So it's better environmentally and better for our health as well.
Ooh, I might look into that, to be honest, because I've been really trying to implement healthier things into my diet, and I honestly think the way of doing that is adding more vegetables. And by doing that, if you get rid of meat, you add more of those vegetables, and I think that is just good within itself. Yeah, but don't eat that many avocados. They're so bad for the environment.
Absolutely.
The water consumption is unholy.
Yeah, but there's so many lovely veggies. You don't have to be eating avocados.
Courgettes.
Broccoli.
I do love a bit of broccoli. My boyfriend hates broccoli.
Henderstone broccoli,
Yeah.
fried with a bit of lemon
And butter.
and garlic, obviously.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Now we're talking. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when videos go up every Thursday. If you want to watch another conversation, here are a couple of options. And if you want to support my activism, there's a link in my profile to a page where you can buy me a coffee and donate money to an animal sanctuary. Thanks. Amber.